Very good. Okay, so welcome to today's class. Today is a special class because I know you all must have seen the flyer. Today we have a presentation, a beautiful presentation by Ojasvi, who is our friend in Govinda's class. And Ojasvi has chosen a topic, the pastimes of Lord Gauranga. Right, Ojasvi?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. It is from the book Gauranga. I will just give a small introduction about Ojasvi. So, Ojasvi is 9 years old. She is currently residing in Cleveland, Ohio. She has a younger brother. She's very much interested in learning shlokas and joining Krishna conscious classes. She likes to help her mom and she teaches shlokas to her younger brother. She loves drawing, crafts, and cooking. She has lots of interest in learning about Krishna consciousness. So that's a wonderful introduction about our dear friend Ojasvi. And now I will hand it over to Ojasvi. And Ojasvi, you can start your presentation. Everyone is there, right? Please listen. And I would like to hear from you all after her presentation about your realizations and comments for Ojasvi. Okay? Ojasvi,
Okay.
please go ahead.
So, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Today I'm going to tell you all about Gauranga pastimes. So, as you know, Lord Gauranga is another name for Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya is the golden incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, my presentation is based off the Gauranga book written by His Holiness Jaipataka Swami. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Vashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpata Robhyasha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I just want to say thanks to all the Bhakti Sangha teachers for giving me this opportunity to present about Gauranga pastimes. So special thanks to Vinita Navadvipa Mataji for all her support and encouragement. So I want to give some background about the presentation. So I really love reading the Gauranga book written by His Holiness Jaipataka Swami. And in the book, His Holiness Jaipataka Swami has explained a wonderful pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a manner that is really easy to understand. So no big words, there are no big words, and also to relish. So I made a small effort to pick some of the pastimes from the book that I taught that I thought have touched me and inspired me. I request all the Vaishnavas who join here to bless me and forgive me if I make any mistakes. So, first, I want to tell you about the Yuga cycle and current Yuga. So, and also which Yuga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in. So there are 4 Yugas: Satyuga, Treta-yuga, Dwapara-yuga, and Kali-yuga. So one set of these 4 Yugas equals 1 Yuga cycle. So 1,000 Yuga cycles equals 1 day of Brahma. So Krishna himself comes once in the day of Brahma in Dwapara-yuga. So he also came as Lord Chaitanya in this Kali-yuga. So this Kali-yuga is special because out of all the 1,000 Yuga cycles, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya in this Kali-yuga. So in Satyuga, people live for 100,000 years. And then in Treta-yuga, people live for 10,000 years. In Dwapara-yuga, people live for 1,000 years. And in Kali-yuga, people live for around 100 years. People in Kali-yuga are less intelligent and misfortunate. So in Kali-yuga, people are misfortunate because they only live for around 100 years. And if you want to do something big for if you want to do something spiritual, it might take more than 100 years. So you'll only live for 100 years. So you can't do it. So also people are less intelligent because everything they read in the books, they can't all memorize it all. So if you want you can't memorize it all. So that's why you need to read it again and again. So if you can't do everything in 100 years, then what can you do? So that's why in Kali Yuga, one can achieve the highest goal of life, to serve Krishna and go back to Godhead, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Without this Mahamantra given to us freely by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's really difficult to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. So because of Lord Chaitanya, we can get liberated in an easier and shorter period of time. So this pastime is special because in this pastime, Krishna decides to come as Gauranga in Bengal. So Narada Muni, he was worried about Kali Yuga because it would start soon, because it was Dwapara Yuga, it was the ending of Dwapara Yuga, and when Dwapara Yuga would end, Krishna's presence would fade and people would become more materialistic, and then Kali Yuga would start. So that's why he decided to visit Krishna in Dwarka so he could ask Krishna a solution to Kali Yuga, the problems in Kali Yuga. So meanwhile, Krishna was in Satyabhama's palace, and he told Rukmini that he would come to her palace soon. So that's why Rukmini had everything ready. She had all the kids nicely dressed, and so the house was decorated, so everything was really welcome for Krishna. So when Krishna came, he was greeted by Rukmini, and Rukmini was really happy when she saw Krishna. So then she started doing Pada Puja, and when she was doing Pada Puja, she started crying. So Krishna noticed that when she came, she was really happy. Now she is crying. So that's why he was wondering why she was crying. So he asked her, "Why are you crying?" So Rukmini said she was crying because only Radharani knows. And she said only Radharani knows because she was feeling separation from Krishna, because Krishna would stay for some time, but then he would leave. So Radharani also felt that way when Krishna left when Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. So all the gopis, especially Radharani, everyone were feeling separation. So Rukmini also felt that separation. So that's why she's only Radharani, because Radharani experienced that separation. And she was crying because I told you, she told Krishna that she was crying because one day, he would stay, but one day he would leave. So that's why Krishna promised her that he would never leave her and pacified her. At the same time, Nadamani came. And so Krishna asked Nadamani what the solution, Krishna asked Nadamani what was wrong. So the Nadamani said that he wanted to know what the solution to all the problems in Kali Yuga, because Kali Yuga would start soon and then Krishna would fade. So that's why Krishna was thinking how Rukmini said only Radharani knows, and how how Nadamani was disturbed. So then he had an idea. So he said that he would come in the mood of Radharani and in a golden complexion, Gauranga. So when he said that he'll come in the mood of Radharani, it means like he will also like feel a separation from Krishna, and he will come in the golden complexion, which is Gauranga. So then Krishna instructed Nadamani to invite everyone from different planets to take birth in Bengal, so that everyone can spread the holy name. So Nadamani first, he went to Brahmaloka and invited Brahma. And then Brahma came as Haridas Thakur. Then he went to Golok Vrindavan and told and invited Lord Chaitanya, and he asked Lord Chaitanya if he would come. So Chaitanya agreed and said he would come. And then he asked everyone if everyone would come, and everyone came because everyone loved Krishna. So he said that when I would come, so I'll come in Bengal, but when I come in Bengal, I will, after I come in Bengal, I will preach all over India, only India. But then I will send a Senapati Bhakta who will preach all over the whole, every continent, the whole world. And that Senapati Bhakta is Srila Prabhupada. So Radharani came as Gadadada, Nada came as Shivastakura, and Satyabhama came as Jagadananda Pandita. Brihaspati came as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Parvati Muni came as Vidya Vachaspati. So lastly, if you notice, Krishna doesn't go anywhere without Balaram. So lastly, Narada Muni went to Balaram and invited him. So Balaram said he would come in Ekachakra with his associates. His associates means his cowherd boys. So it said that if you go to Ekachakra, you should say Nitai Gaura, not Gaura-Nitai, or they will get really offended. So Kali Yuga people are irreligious, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just gave them a really simple process: sing, dance, feast, and hear the glories of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya is known to be Krishna himself, but in a more merciful form. So before Lord Chaitanya was born, people wanted to worship the demigods instead of Vishnu. So people were irreligious, and even the Vaishnavas, they thought that you had to chant the Mahamantra in the Ganges because the Ganges was pure, but you should not chant it anywhere else. So people would marry their daughters with really big ceremonies, and that was the most important principle in life. So marriage is important, but it's not the most important principle in life, but they thought it was. So people did big and expensive marriage ceremonies just to prove that theirs was the richest and nicest wedding in the whole town. And everyone wanted to be known as religious, not really be religious, but just have fame, and so that everyone will respect them. So if a person had a nicer marriage than the first person, and the first person didn't have any daughters to do marriage for, then they would marry the Shiva and Parvati Murtis. So if someone married the Shiva and Parvati Murti, someone would marry a dog, and if someone married a dog, another person would marry a cat. So before Lord Chaitanya came, Advaita Acharya was thinking about all the irreligious people, and that they're really hard to turn into devotees. And so then he thought that only Krishna the Lord can give love to everyone in Kali Yuga and turn them into devotees. So you're shouting, Hey Krishna, and he was shouting for Krishna to come down and correct these people and make them into devotees. So he was fasting and he worshipped his Shaligram Shila with Ganges water and the Tulsi. He prayed and shouted for the Lord to come. So also, Srivas Thakur, he was also praying intensely for the Lord to come and correct these irreligious activities. So the Lord decided to come in the family of Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata. So one day Jagannath Mishra had a dream that Krishna came in his heart, then transferred to Sachimata's heart, then entered her womb. So then Sachimata found out that she was going to have a baby. So Jagannath Mishra noticed that Sachimata, his wife, started to look like the goddess of fortune. And like she was looking more like really beautiful. And so then even though their family was pure, even though they were poor, people just went to Jagannath Mishra and started giving him money. So they noticed that someone special was in Sachimata's womb, because the baby, if a baby stayed for more than 9 months, the doctors would immediately do cesarean. But the baby was in the womb for more than 9 months. It was in the womb for 13 months without cesarean. Okay, so on the birth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was a full moon day and also an eclipse. So the Muslims thought the Hindus were chanting Hare Bol, and they thought they were crazy because it was like because they didn't know why they were chanting Hare Bol. So news after the birth of the Lord, news spread that Sachimata has given birth to a beautiful boy who had a golden complexion. So like every lady, like everyone visited her baby. So Sita Thakurani, who is Advaita Acharya's wife, also visited Nimai. When the Lord was a baby, he never stopped crying. So this is like one of my favorite pastimes. So when the Lord was a baby, he like never stopped crying. Then the Lord tried to pacify. Then the ladies tried to pacify him, like by singing songs, and like trying to keep him quiet, but he kept crying. So then they started chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And then Nimai stopped crying, and instead he was clapping his hands and dancing. Okay, so when Nimai was 6 months old, it was time for his Annaprasana. Annaprasana means eating the first few grains of sweet rice. Usually, people do the Namakarana, which means the naming ceremony, when the baby is around 1 or 2 months old. But Nimai's parents didn't do the Namakarana when Nimai was 1 or 2 months old. So they decided that they would do it with the Annaprasana. So they did the Annaprasana, and then they invited Neelamari Chakravarti to like name Nimai to be in the Namakarana for the naming ceremony. So then he thought about Nimai's name, and he said Vishwamvara would be a good name. And also then the ladies said that Nimai would be a good name because he was born under a neem tree. So all the ladies wanted Nimai and all the men wanted Vishwambara. So Neelamari Chakravarti made everyone happy. because he said that his common name would be Nimai and his spiritual name would be Vishwambara. So after the Annaprasana, or in this case the Namakarna, usually after the ceremony, there's the ceremony of the book and the money, and the baby will either go for the book or the money. And there's usually just one book or one like kind of money, but Neelamad Chakravarti put like different kinds of like coins and money. Like if the baby took more than other, like, you know, he would be more of a businessman. So, and also Neelamad Chakravarti put a selection of books. So Nimai didn't even like decide, but he went straight for the books, and he took, and out of all of them, he took the Srimad Bhagavatam and hugged it. So the Panditas told Nimai's parents that that he will become a Pandita. So this is also an amazing pastime. So because when Nimai was a toddler, he learned how to speak, and one day Nimai started crying and he didn't stop. That's why Jagannath Mishra asked him why he was crying. And he said he was crying because Jagadish, because he wanted to go to the house of Jagadish Pandita and Hiranya Pandita because they were having a big Ekadashi feast. So Jagannath Mishra thought, so his father wondered how he was so little, and even though he was so little, how he knew what Ekadashi means, and how he knew that they were going to have a big feast even though they didn't tell anyone. He wanted to find out if they were going to have a big feast. So that's why he decided to go to their house with Nimai. So when they entered their house, they saw, Jagannath Mishra saw 108 offerings. So Jagannath Mishra asked what was happening, and Hiranya Pandita and Jagadish Pandita said that today was a special anniversary that they celebrate once a year. He told them what Nimai said, that he knew that they were that he was crying because he wanted to go to their house because they were having a big Ekadashi feast. And they personally thought that Nimai was Lord Krishna. So they offered Nimai some sweets, and Nimai took them happily and ate them. So this is a pastime of the thieves bewildered. So one day, Nimai was playing outside alone. So then some thieves saw him, and they noticed that Nimai had some expensive ornaments. That's why they decided to steal them. So they went to Nimai and said that they're his uncle, and that if he comes with them, they will give him sweets. So Nimai was Krishna himself, so he knew that they were thieves because because Krishna is in their heart, so he knows everything. But he was a toddler in that age, so he acted like a normal toddler, and something a normal toddler would do would be coming with them, because like they would know that they would be bandits. Like they weren't like big enough. Like they just thought that they were his uncle. So he went with them. So after a while, they bought him some sweets, and Nimai ate them happily. Then they said they would take him home. They walked and saw their hideout, and when they placed him down, their visions changed back to Nimai's house. His father was worried about Nimai, and he was trying to find him. Then he found him with the thieves, and they thought they were like just some normal gentlemen, and he thought that they help him they just found him, and that's why they were trying to return him. But he didn't know that they were actually thieves trying to steal his ornament. So he thanked them, and the thieves knew what they had done, and they were like kind of guilty. So they were scared that Jagannath Mishra would find out. So then they ran away. So this is the last. Okay, so there are three sections in the Gauranga book, which are equivalent to the 3 sections in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is the end of the first section. This pastime is the last pastime in the first section. So this is called Nimai Liberates the Puppy. So one day, Nimai saw a group of puppies playing outside. Then all the puppies left except for one puppy. So Nimai decided to take that one puppy as his pet. So that's why he tied a rope around its neck and took it inside. When Sachimata saw the puppy inside, she said to Nimai that you shouldn't have a dog inside the house because you're the Brahmana boy. So take it outside. Dogs are considered impure because if they are left inside, they will look at the offering made to the Lord. Nimai told Sachimata to take care of the dog because he would take a bath. So Sachimata agreed that she would. So then after Nimai went to take a bath, the mother dog came to find its puppy. So then Sachimata was relieved, so she let the puppy go. And so when Nimai came back, he was like asking, okay, sorry. So when Nimai came back, he asked Sachimata where his puppy was. Then Sachimata said maybe his friends took it. So then meanwhile, since the puppy was hugged by, so it was hugged by the Lord, so then since it was hugged by the Lord, it developed symptoms of ecstasy and love for Godhead. So then it was dancing and shouting, even though it couldn't like talk, it was shouting, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. So then while the puppy was dancing, it was rolling on the ground and then suddenly left its body. So then there came a spark from his heart, which was the soul of the dog. Then the Vishnudas came on the spiritual airplane, and then the dog came in his human form, and then the Vishnudutas took the dog back to Godhead. The Lord is giving out love even when he was like a toddler. So he's really merciful, and so just by when he hugged the dog and then the dog went back to Godhead, even if we touch the lotus feet of Krishna, we'll have love for Godhead. So this is the end of the section in Gauranga book, the birth and childhood pastimes. So Nimai gets schooled. An astrologer told Jagannath Mishra that Vishwambara would take sannyasa. Then he was afraid that Nimai might take sannyasa too. So he decided that Nimai would not get education. So Nimai wanted to go to school, but he couldn't, so he became very naughty, so that his parents would finally give up and let him go to school. Like he would do a lot of naughty things, like he would put water in the ear of a baby, and he would mix the men's and women's clothes when like they were taking a bath. He would do many other like naughty things. So then his parents finally couldn't bear it anymore. So then they finally let Nimai get education. So when Nimai went to school, he learned everything in 64 days. And when he finished school, he was really good at Sanskrit grammar. So when he was 11, he was like a master at it. At a very little age, Nimai started teaching to even followers who were older than him. So he was really strict and made sure everyone would take a bath and put on tilka, or he would humiliate them in front of everyone, and like he would like then he would send them back. And so then that's why everyone knew that they should always put tilaka and take a bath, or they would be humiliated in front of everyone. So even though Nimai was so young, he was already one of India's greatest teachers at that time. Later, he was known as Nimai Pandita, and he had many students. He would debate many panditas and would always defeat them because he was so good at Sanskrit grammar. So Nimai gets initiated. After Jagannath Mishra died, Nimai went to Gaya to perform pindi. Pindi means like offering Krishna Prasadam for their soul when they leave their body. So when the Lord went to Gaya, he met Ishwarapuri in his ashrama, who was a disciple of Madhavendrapuri, and Madhavendrapuri was in the Parampara line. And after the Lord met him, he told him that he needed a guru, or else he wouldn't go back to Godhead. That's why Ishwarapuri finally agreed and said he would give him initiation. After Lord Chaitanya took initiation, he became more sentimental and like more ecstatic for Krishna. After doing pindi for his father, he decided he would go to Vrindavan. So, but at the same time, when he was gonna go to Vrindavan, a voice from the sky told him that he must go to Navadvipa first to start the Sankirtana movement. So he decided he would go there first. Everyone thought of Nimai as a great scholar, but they were shocked to see how much he changed, because he was like, first he was like really defeating everyone and debating everyone, debating all the panditas. Now he was just teaching Krishna consciousness, and he wasn't like that much like strict, and he was like a really simple devotee. He was chanting and rolling on the ground in ecstasy. So one day, Shiva Thakur invited the Lord because he was invited to perform Sankirtana. Shiva Thakur said that he would only invite confidential devotees who would only the ones who would understand the Lord's ecstasy. So every day the Lord would go to his house and chant in ecstasy. When there was the Sankirtana going on, people would wonder what was going on because the doors were closed and only devotees were invited. Usually after 15 or 20 minutes, the kirtana would really start being ecstatic. But one day, it was not. So that's why Lord Chaitanya said that he was not feeling ecstasy. So he said that maybe someone was watching. So then after a while, Shiva Thakur found his mother-in-law hiding under some pots. He told her that she was disturbing the kirtana, so then he threw her out. So Lord asked him why he treated his mother-in-law like that. And so then Shiva Thakur said that if he had to choose between Krishna and family, he would definitely pick Krishna. So this is really important because this is the meeting of Gaura-Nitai. So until now, we didn't really know about Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Now we're gonna know how Nityananda Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come together. So one day Rama, Abhirama, and Nityananda Mahaprabhu went to Navadvipa. So the Lord knew he came because he was Krishna himself. So he told his followers to find him. These followers went to every house and asked if he was there. And after they visited all the houses and couldn't find him, they returned. And they told Krishna that they couldn't find him. And the Lord said, you couldn't find him because it's not that you didn't search properly, but because you had to have devotion in order for Nityananda to reveal himself. So only he can reveal himself. So then you can find him. So the next day, Lord Chaitanya and his Sankirtana party went to Navadvipa. At the same time, Rama Pirama and Nityananda Prabhu were at the courtyard of Nandanacharya. As the Kirtana party got closer, they heard the chanting of the holy name. They came closer, and finally the Lord entered the courtyard of Nandanacharya, and then then he found Nityananda Prabhu and Rama Pirama there. So then when they both saw each other, they both ran into each other and hugged each other. So that's how Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya met. So when they saw each other, they ran into each other and praised each other. So then they both danced and chanted throughout Navadvipa. This is about Kazi receiving mercy from the Lord. So there was a local Muslim magistrate called Kazi. Some Hindus complained to him that Nimai Pandita was chanting the holy name in public. So Kazi told his soldiers to prevent the kirtana. So then the devotees told the Lord what happened. So the Lord said that no one can stop a kirtan. And so he told his devotees to gather everyone in the town and to take everyone and make everyone to gather in the house of Kazi. Kazi was scared, so he hid in his house. Finally, he came inside and saw the Lord, so he invited him to come inside. Lord Chaitanya asked him why he restricted them from chanting the holy name, and Kazi said that he actually had a dream of a half man, half lion, who was Lord Nrsimha, and then the half man, half lion creature. He said that the half man, half lion creature told him that he should never stop a kirtan again, or he would finish him. So then Nrsimhadev ripped his chest. So then Kazi showed Lord Chaitanya his chest with the claw marks. And then the Lord touched him and blessed him. And then Kazi told him that he would never stop kirtan again. So that's the end of the second section, the Navadvipa and youth pastimes. So the Lord takes sannyasa. So the Lord decided he would take sannyasa and he would only bring 5 devotees with him. Who knew his plan? So one night while everyone was sleeping, he escaped with 5 devotees at midnight without anyone knowing. Then finally his mother found out that he was missing. So she looked everywhere, and then since she couldn't find him, she collapsed. And then after they escaped, they reached Katpa, a place called Katpa. So Lord Chaitanya found there was a big festival, and the Lord told them, so the Lord found that there was a big festival going on because he was going to take sannyas. When he went there, everyone was chanting, and so then the Lord told everyone to stop because it was time to move on with the ceremony. And then the next ceremony would be shaving of the Lord's beautiful hair. So when he called a barber, and then he told him to shave his hair. The barber started to shave his hair, but then all the devotees and everyone told him that no, please don't cut the beautiful hair of the Lord. So the barber said he wouldn't. So the Lord finally talked him into doing it. He made him do it. So then when the Lord started finished shaving his hair, he was in so much ecstasy, so he finally fell down on the ground in ecstasy on the pile of the Lord's hair. Then he was known as a great saint. So then the Lord receives his sannyasa clothes from Keshava Bharati, and then he receives his new name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So then the Lord finally decides to go to Vrindavan. After the Lord takes sannyasa, he doesn't directly go to Vrindavan. After he takes sannyasa, first he goes to Santipura. So many pastimes happen there, and the most important pastime and special pastime is that, as you know, everyone was feeling separation from Krishna because he took sannyasa, so everyone was missing him. Everyone was feeling separation from the Lord. So that's why the Lord reunions with his devotees, and he sees all his devotees. So then he goes to Jagannath-puri, and then he ends up going alone because he was angry at Nityananda Prabhu because Nityananda Prabhu broke his Ekadanda into 3 pieces because he thought that he should have took a sannyasa from a Vaishnava. So then he ran and entered into Jagannath-puri. So then lastly he goes to South India before he goes to Vrindavan, and he takes an entire tour there, and then he goes up the western part and finds a place where his brother Vishwambara left his body. After he goes to South India, he goes to Jagannath-puri and tells his devotees he will go to Vrindavan. At that time, Swarupa Damodara and Ramanandaraya were accompanying him, and they said that he should let one nice devotee go with him to carry his pot and cook food for him. But Chaitanya agreed. They searched for a while for one nice devotee and finally found Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He was a learned, honest, and had great love for Krishna. It was not duplicitous. In the morning, the Lord and Balabhadra Bhattacharya left, entering the forest. When they were going, Lord Chaitanya told many animals to chant the holy name. Also, when the Lord would chant the holy name, all the animals would get attracted and would follow him. So this is a really special pastime, also the last pastime of my presentation, and it's called the cleansing of the Gundica temple. So the cleansing of the Gundica temple takes place a day before Rath Yatra. Every year, the Lord and his associates clean the temple as a service to also clean their hearts. On the day of a festival, everyone was handed a broom to sweep the floor. First, they cleaned up the big branches, leaves, and twigs that fell to the temple. So then they cleaned the straws, and pebbles. Lord Chaitanya challenged all the devotees into a competition on who will have the biggest dirt pile. After a while of sweeping, the Lord had the biggest amount of dirt, even with the devotees, all the devotees' piles together. So first they cleaned the dirt, then they cleaned the sand, and lastly they poured water everywhere and then mopped it. So some people didn't have enough clothes, so then they mopped it with their own clothes. So then Lord Chaitanya said the person with the least dirt on their pile has to pay a fine of sweets. So then they go to Rath Yatra, and so they all have a big Sankirtana party, and even the king, even though he's a king, he comes as a devotee, and he sweeps the road. So then the Lord gives him mercy. So before I end my presentation, I just want to give some closing comments. So just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees cleaned the temple, we should also cleanse our heart by chanting the holy name. So I just want to say that the pastimes I included were just a few important ones of the whole out of all the pastimes in the whole Gauranga book. I recommend this book to everyone because usually books have difficult words to understand, but this Gauranga book doesn't have any big words, and it's interesting, especially to the kids, because it's just like a storybook. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Excellent, Ojasvi. Excellent, excellent. Very, very nice, very beautiful storytelling, lovely details, and lovely message towards the end. So proud of you. Your presentation was so professional. It's very difficult to make elaborate presentations. Your choice of stories were excellent, and your way of presenting was so calm and so nice, so pleasing to the heart. Thank you so much, Ojasvi. You've done an amazing job. We're so proud of you. It was like an adult presenting. So thank you so much for all these pastimes. And I will hand it over now for comments and realizations by the rest of you. So all of you on the call, if you have any comments, realizations, or anything you want to tell Ojasvi, questions, everything is welcome. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Ojasvi, such a beautiful, beautiful presentation. Oh my God, this is very nice. And I didn't expect it will be this much nice. I mean, I was talking to your mom that she said that you like Gauranga book. And then they said, why don't you present on that? But such a beautiful, you made such a hard work, very beautiful slides. The way you presented, as Preeti Mataji said, it's so detailed. I got a glimpse of all Chaitanya Charitamrita when you were speaking. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful presentation. Very grateful to you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Ojasvi. Very, very beautiful presentation. As Vinita Gandharvika was saying, whole Chaitanya Charitamrita pastimes at one glimpse. And your mom said that you were only preparing by yourself. That's very wonderful. Actually, I should ask Jagannath also to do that. Usually, I always help him. But you prepared it by yourself. Very, very nice. Very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Ojasvi. I liked your presentation and the stories you shared. Thank you, Saraswati.
Hi, Krishna Ojasvi. I really like your class and presentation. It was really nice.
Thank you, Yuki.
Hi, Krishna Ojasvi. That was a really nice presentation. Some of the stories that you mentioned, I actually really didn't know before. So this is some of the stories the first time I'm hearing. So in detail. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And thank you for listening.
Krishna Ojasvi, thank you for the very beautiful presentation. I loved how you actually made so many slides and added very good pictures, and also the points that you wrote were very detailed. They gave a lot of information, and all the stories they were very, very nice. And yeah, I didn't know some of them, so I learned many things here today. Thank you for the beautiful presentation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mukund, and also thank you for attending.
Hare Krishna Ojasvi, I really like your presentation. You put a lot of points and a lot of stories. Your presentation had a lot of pictures and it was very detailed. A lot of the story, just like Mukund said, I really didn't know. Thank you.
Hi, Krishna Ojasvi. I really liked your presentation. It was really good. I have one question. For one of the slides, you said that they married the Shiva and Parvati Murtis, and then they get married to a dog and then to a cat. I got kind of confused what you meant by that.
So like they would marry the Shiva and Parvati murtis, and the other people that thought that they could do something more than like more unique or like more different than marrying the Shiva and Parvati murtis. So one person decided to marry a dog. So then another person wanted to do.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ojasvi. I loved your class. It was very nice. I also have the book and I read it, and yeah, I really like the book too. So it was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Ojasvi. I really liked the presentation. I liked all the points that you mentioned and how detailed, like you said, all the stories. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Ojasvi, for the class.
Thank you, Isha.
Hare Krishna, Ojasvi, thank you for the amazing class. And I have a question. So, you were talking about like all the devotees that were, who they were when they came to the Chaitanya. So, who was Advaita Acharya?
Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of like the combination of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
Ojasvi, I really like your class because your class is really, really nice. And I like your class because you said the Nimai little children pastimes. I know that story. It is really, really nice, that children's story. That was my favorite story in your in the Gauranga book. Thank you for the class.
Thank you, Bala for attending my presentation. Anyone else?
Okay. Anyone else would like to say a few words to Ojasvi?
Hare Krishna, Ojasvi. A wonderful presentation. It really shows how much research you have done and how you thoroughly read the Gauranga book, and you have put together the pastimes. You explained all of them in your own words. Very beautiful presentation. I really loved your class, your presentation. Thank you so much. And please keep giving us more and more presentations. Each one took so much research. Thank you so much for your effort.
Thank you, Mataji, and also thank you, Suraj and Kavya.
Wonderful. So thank you all so much for participating in this very wonderful session where Ojasvi presented on a beautiful topic from Gauranga book. So for those who are surprised and didn't realize that today was a presentation day, I just wanted to mention that we have moved our Sunday presentation to the respective class timings. So those on schedule will continue to present once a week during our regular Govinda, Madhava and Damodar classes. Besides that, today we did have cooking, but we are going to have it tomorrow. So if you have made your dough ready, I suggest you put it in your refrigerator and you can use it tomorrow.
Could we please have cooking today?
You cannot, the problem is
There's no time.
There's no time. We don't have time. Time is up.
We only have like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, Mataji, could you put the steps in the chat?
Yeah, the steps are in the chat, but we're going to do it tomorrow together because Lakshmi Mataji is going to come tomorrow just for you.
Mataji, is it okay if I just make the pizza today, eat it tomorrow, while everybody's making it?
Sure, you can do that too. Yeah.
But except you're just eating the pizza while everybody's making it.
Yeah, you can eat and you can show how to eat. No problem. Okay. So
Food
we're
is
gonna
a master of showing, of eating.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay. So tomorrow we are going to make the pizza with Lakshmi Mataji. You can eat the pizza or you can also make the pizza. It's all up to you. Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow, and tomorrow instead of craft, we will have pizza time. And Padmasaki Mataji will be teaching you the rest of the story after Parikshit Maharaj met the cow. Okay.
Mataji, could we cut short this Parikshit Maharaj things and add the cooking and the craft?
Oh, really? You want that? Okay, I will tell the teacher.
Can we?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll ask her to keep it really short and do both. Okay. We'll make everyone happy, Suraj. We'll do that. Okay. So we'll meet up tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to congratulate Ojasvi
Hare
again.
Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Vancharopiasya kripa sindhubhye की जय, शीला प्रभुपाद की जय, ओजस्वी की जय. Very beautiful presentation, Ojasvi. Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.